Before your mind tries to analyze how you arrived here, pause for a moment and breathe, because this message began moving toward you long before you became aware of it. It traveled through silence, through unseen currents of time, through moments when you felt lost and moments when you felt strong, and now it has finally found you at the exact second your soul was ready to hear it. Not earlier, not later, but now. Because this is a divine intersection where the unseen meets the seen, and where your destiny gently taps your shoulder and says, "Pay attention. Something important is unfolding for you, my beloved one. You are not ordinary. And your journey has never been random, even when it felt chaotic, even when it felt unfair, even when you questioned your own strength. Every step you took while doubting yourself was still a step guided by a higher hand that never let you fall beyond repair. You may not have realized it then, but every setback slowed you down to save you. Every closed door protected you from paths that would have drained your spirit, and every delay refined you so that you could carry the weight of the blessings that are now preparing to enter your life. Understand this deeply. What you're about to receive requires the version of you that survived, healed, learned, and transformed in silence. There were nights when you talked to the universe without words, when your heart whispered prayers your lips could not form, when tears became your language and still you stood up the next day, that resilience did not go unnoticed. The divine saw how you kept going even when motivation disappeared, how you chose hope even when logic told you to quit, and how you stayed kind in a world that tried to harden you. And because of that, a shift is now taking place around you, subtle at first, almost invisible, but powerful beyond measure. Things are rearranging themselves in your favor, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. People, opportunities, and circumstances are quietly aligning. Some will leave your life without explanation, and some will enter unexpectedly. Do not resist this movement. It is necessary. You are stepping into a season where clarity replaces confusion, where peace replaces constant inner noise, where your efforts finally meet the right timing, and where the love you gave freely returns to you multiplied. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to receive what you once thought was impossible. The waiting has stretched you, yes, but it has also strengthened your discernment. Now you can see truth more clearly. Now you can feel when something is meant for you and when it is not. Trust this awareness. It is one of your greatest gifts. The divine wants you to release the habit of doubting good news when it arrives. You have been conditioned by disappointment to expect loss, but that pattern is ending. You no longer need to brace yourself for impact every time something good begins. Joy is allowed to stay, stability is allowed to exist, and happiness does not have to be temporary. You are entering a phase where your inner healing begins to reflect in your outer reality, where confidence grows naturally instead of being forced, and where your presence alone becomes calming to others. People will start noticing a change in you. Not because you are trying to prove anything, but because your energy has shifted. You no longer chase validation. You no longer beg for understanding, and you no longer shrink yourself to fit into spaces that cannot honor you. This new chapter will ask you to trust yourself more than your fears, to listen to your intuition more than external noise, and to walk forward even if the entire path is not yet visible. Remember, divine guidance rarely shouts, it whispers. And those whispers are already reaching you through sudden realizations, repeated signs, and an unexplainable sense that something better is coming. Hold on to that feeling, protect it, nurture it, because it is true. What you have been praying for is not only possible, it is approaching. And when it arrives, you will look back at this moment and understand why you had to grow the way you did, why you had to wait, and why you had to become stronger before receiving more. Stay open, stay grounded, stay faithful, because this is not the end of your story. This is the quiet beginning of the chapter that changes everything. Everything you once endured is now transforming into wisdom, and that wisdom is becoming the foundation of the life you are stepping into, because you are no longer the same person who started this journey. You have evolved in ways that even you have not fully recognized yet. Your silence has become strength. Your boundaries have become self-respect, and your patience has become power. There is a calm forming within you that cannot be shaken by external chaos. And this calm is not weakness, it is mastery. The divine is reminding you that you do not need to announce your growth for it to be real. The universe responds to alignment, not noise, and right now your energy is aligning with a higher version of your destiny. You may notice that certain desires no longer excite you the way they once did. Certain conversations feel empty, and certain environments feel heavy. This is not confusion. This is elevation. You are outgrowing spaces that once felt familiar, and it is natural to feel uncomfortable when expansion begins. Do not mistake this discomfort for failure. It is a signal that you are moving beyond old limitations. There will be moments ahead where you are tested again, not to break you, but to confirm what you have learned. The difference now is that you will respond with awareness instead of reaction, with calm instead of chaos, with confidence instead of fear. The divine wants you to understand that your intuition has been sharpened through experience. Trust it. When something feels off, step back. When something feels aligned, step forward without overthinking. You're being guided more clearly than ever before. Even if the guidance does not come in dramatic signs, it comes through inner knowing, sudden clarity, and quiet certainty. Pay attention to what brings you peace rather than excitement alone. Peace is your compass in this season. There are blessings approaching that will require you to choose yourself unapologetically, to say no without guilt, and to say yes without fear. You are learning that self-worth is not proven through sacrifice alone, but through discernment. You do not need to carry what is not yours. You do not need to fix what is not your responsibility. And you do not need to stay where you are not valued. Release the belief that struggle is the price of success. Ease is allowed now. Support is allowed now. Rest is allowed now. You have already done the hard work internally. The next phase is about receiving without resistance. Notice how your mindset is shifting from survival to creation, from scarcity to trust, from doubt to expectation. This shift is opening doors that force could never open. People will start responding to you differently. Opportunities will appear at unexpected moments, and solutions will come where problems once existed. Let this happen naturally. Do not rush the process. Divine timing is precise, not delayed. You are being positioned, not postponed. Everything unfolding now is preparing you for stability, fulfillment, and purpose. Not the kind that looks impressive to others, but the kind that feels peaceful to you. Remember, your journey is not meant to look like anyone else's. Comparison only clouds the miracle that is uniquely yours. Keep walking with quiet confidence. Keep choosing growth over comfort. And keep listening to that gentle inner voice that keeps reminding you that you are supported, protected, and guided. Because you are, even in moments when it feels uncertain, especially then. This chapter continues to unfold with intention. And as you move forward, you will realize that what once felt like the longest wait was actually the shortest distance between who you were and who you were always meant to become. Becoming was never meant to be loud. It was meant to be real. And right now, you are standing in a moment where reality is finally catching up with the effort you invested when no one was watching. You learned how to hold yourself together when reassurance was missing, how to keep your heart open even after disappointment, and how to trust the process even when the outcome remained unclear. This quiet endurance shaped you into someone who no longer needs approval to feel secure. The divine presence around you is asking you to recognize this strength, not as something you had to earn, but as something that was awakened within you through experience. You are entering a season where your thoughts begin to settle, your emotions feel lighter, and your decisions feel more grounded. The urgency that once pushed you to rush outcomes is slowly fading, replaced by a deep understanding that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. There is no competition for your destiny, no need to compare timelines, and no reason to question your worth based on someone else's progress. Your path is unfolding with intention, and each step forward is supported even when it feels uncertain. Pay attention now to the subtle shifts in your daily life. The way small things start working out, the way conversations feel more meaningful, and the way you feel less attached to outcomes that once controlled your emotions. This is alignment taking place, not dramatic, not chaotic, but steady and transformative. The universe is teaching you how to receive without fear and how to let go without resistance. You are learning that peace is not something you chase, it is something you allow. And as you allow it, clarity follows naturally. Opportunities will start appearing that match your new mindset, not the old version of you that, moving forward without needing permission, you begin to realize that the past no longer has the authority to define your present. The memories that once pulled you backward now serve only as reminders of how far you have already come. And this awareness changes the way you carry yourself. You're no longer dragging old pain into new moments. You're no longer replaying conversations that drained you. And you're no longer waiting for validation from places that never truly saw you. This shift did not happen overnight. It happened slowly through self-honesty, through moments of discomfort, through choosing growth when familiarity felt safer. And now that internal shift is beginning to echo into your external world. Situations that once felt complicated start resolving themselves. People who once misunderstood you either step aside or suddenly see you clearly. And opportunities that once felt out of reach start feeling natural, almost inevitable. The divine is teaching you that alignment creates ease, not because effort disappears, but because resistance does. You are learning how to flow instead of force, how to trust instead of control, and how to stay open without losing yourself. This balance is rare, and that is why it is powerful. There will be days ahead when you look around and realize that the chaos you once lived in no longer exists in the same way. Your environment becomes calmer because your inner world has changed. Your reactions soften because your understanding deepens, and your confidence stabilizes because it is no longer built on outcomes but on self-trust. The universe responds strongly to this kind of inner stability because it signals readiness. Readiness to receive, readiness to sustain, readiness to expand without collapsing under pressure. Understand this clearly. What is coming into your life now is not meant to test you. It is meant to support you. It is meant to grow with you rather than against you. You will notice that your intuition becomes sharper, quicker, and more accurate. You sense when to speak and when silence is wiser, when to move and when waiting holds more power. This discernment is a gift earned through experience, not something given randomly, and it will protect you more than you realize. The divine is also asking you to release the idea that you must constantly prove your worth through struggle. You have already proven yourself through survival. Now it is time to experience creation, enjoyment, and fulfillment without guilt. Joy is not a distraction from purpose. It is evidence that you are aligned with it. Allow yourself to feel moments of happiness without questioning how long they will last. Allow yourself to rest without feeling lazy, and allow yourself to dream again without immediately calculating the risk. This openness invites expansion. And expansion invites new possibilities that your old mindset could not access. People will be drawn to your presence not because you demand attention, but because your energy feels safe, grounded, and genuine. You become someone others trust instinctively, and that trust opens doors in subtle but meaningful ways. Conversations lead to opportunities, ideas lead to collaborations, and moments lead to breakthroughs. None of this feels forced because it is not. It is the natural outcome of alignment. There may still be uncertainty at times, but it will no longer feel paralyzing. It will feel like anticipation rather than fear. Like standing at the edge of something meaningful instead of standing in the shadow of loss. The divine wants you to understand that uncertainty is not the enemy. Avoidance is, and you are no longer avoiding your potential. You are stepping toward it with awareness, patience, and courage. This journey will continue unfolding layer by layer, revealing lessons when you are ready and rewards when you are prepared to hold them. Trust that you are supported even when answers do not arrive immediately. Trust that delays are still working in your favor. And trust that the path beneath your feet is solid, even if you cannot see far ahead, because you are not walking alone. You never have been, and every step you take now is guided by wisdom gained through experience, strength earned through endurance, and faith refined through time. Keep moving, keep listening, keep trusting. Because this continuation is not about reaching an end. It is about fully stepping into the life that has been quietly waiting for you to believe you deserve it. Allowing yourself to stay present in this unfolding moment. You begin to sense that life is no longer pushing you to survive, but inviting you to participate, to choose consciously rather than react instinctively. And this invitation feels unfamiliar at first because you spent so long bracing for impact. Yet slowly, you are learning that not every chapter requires defense. Some chapters ask for openness, curiosity, and trust. And as you soften into this understanding, you notice how your inner dialogue changes. The harsh self-criticism quiets, the constant overthinking loosens its grip, and in its place emerges a steady voice that reminds you that you are capable, prepared, and supported. This voice is not loud or demanding. It is calm and certain, and it grows stronger each time you honor it. The divine wants you to recognize that this inner shift is the real breakthrough. Because external success without internal stability never lasts. But when stability comes first, everything built upon it becomes sustainable. You are learning how to move through life without abandoning yourself, how to pursue goals without sacrificing peace, and how to remain authentic even when circumstances test your patience. This balance is shaping a future that feels aligned rather than exhausting. You may notice that you are less interested in proving your value and more interested in protecting your energy, less focused on being understood by everyone and more committed to being honest with yourself. This is maturity of the soul, and it changes the way you experience everything. Relationships deepen because you no longer seek completion from others. Work becomes more meaningful because it reflects your values rather than just your ambition. And solitude feels nourishing rather than lonely, because you have learned how to be present with yourself. The universe responds to this wholeness by mirroring it back to you. Situations resolve with less resistance. People show up with clearer intentions, and opportunities align with who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. Even challenges begin to feel different, not like punishments, but like invitations to apply the wisdom you have gained. You are no longer afraid of growth that stretches you because you trust your ability to adapt, to learn, and to recover. The divine is reminding you that resilience does not mean constant strength. It means flexibility, self-compassion, and the willingness to keep moving even when certainty is incomplete. You are allowed to take pauses without losing momentum. You are allowed to change direction without losing purpose. And you are allowed to redefine success in a way that honors your well-being. This permission frees you from invisible pressure and allows creativity to flow naturally. Ideas come more easily, solutions appear unexpectedly, and inspiration replaces force. You begin to see that life is not something happening to you, but something unfolding with you, responding to your awareness, your intentions, and your choices. Stay attentive to this dialogue, because every thought you nurture and every decision you make now carries amplified impact. Alignment sharpens cause and effect, meaning that clarity accelerates results. Choose presence over worry, choose integrity over convenience, and choose patience over panic, because these choices are quietly shaping a reality that feels stable, fulfilling, and true. There will be moments when the old habits try to resurface, when doubt whispers familiar fears. But you will recognize them for what they are, echoes of a past version of you that no longer leads. Acknowledge them without judgment and return to your center. Each time you do this, you strengthen trust within yourself. And self-trust becomes the foundation of everything that follows. This journey is not about arriving at a final destination. It is about living in alignment as you move forward. Discovering that fulfillment is not postponed to the future, but experienced in the present through awareness, intention, and courage. Continue walking with this understanding, because what you are building now is not just a season of success. It is a way of being that will sustain you through every season that follows. You start to notice that your reactions are no longer driven by fear of loss, but guided by confidence in continuity. You understand now that life is not a series of fragile moments waiting to collapse. It is a resilient flow that adapts as you adapt. And this understanding brings a quiet strength into your daily choices. You stop rushing conversations, you stop forcing outcomes, and you stop explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Instead, you move with intention, trusting that what is meant to stay will stay without struggle, and what is meant to leave will create space for something more aligned. The divine presence surrounding you is subtle yet constant, not dramatic or overwhelming, but steady like a current that keeps you moving forward even when you pause to rest. You begin to feel supported in ways that cannot be logically explained, but are deeply felt. Moments of synchronicity appear. The right words arrive at the right time. Clarity comes after confusion, and answers emerge when you stop chasing them. This is not coincidence. This is alignment responding to awareness. You're learning that control was never your true power. Consciousness is, and as your consciousness